Furman guilty pleas in all 4 cases arose out of series of armed robberies that he and his accomplice committed in the fall. Furman's guilty pleas in all 4 cases arose out of a series of armed robberies that he and his accomplice committed in the fall of 2009. On February 11, 2010, Furman pleaded guilty to his involvement in the robberies and agreed to cooperate with Detroit police and the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, which included providing truthful testimony against everyone involved in committing all robberies and carjackings he has knowledge of at all hearings and trials. In exchange for cooperation, the prosecution agreed to dismiss Furman's firearm charges. The prosecution agreed to dismiss all the charges in their docket and to recommend a 14 to 25-year imprisonment for each of Furman's convictions. The trial court accepted the plea agreement on July 20th and July 26th of 2010. Furman testified against Manuel Durham, one of his accomplices, and the individual who also allegedly shot Furman during one of the robberies. How did he shoot him during the robbery? I don't know, man. On July 27, 2010, the trial court vacated Furman's plea agreement because it determined that Furman did not testify truthfully against Durham. On July 29, 2010, Furman pleaded guilty to each of the charges at issue in his appeal. And Furman was sentenced to concurrent terms of 225 months to 40 years imprisonment for his armed robbery and conspiracy to commit armed robbery convictions, to be served consecutive to 2 years imprisonment for his felony conviction. And docket number 30 Blase Blade, Furman was sentenced to a concurrent term of 225 months to 40 years imprisonment for his armed robbery, intent to rob while armed, and conspiracy to commit armed robbery convictions, to be served consecutive to 2 years imprisonment for his felony conviction. In docket number Blase Splee, the trial court sentenced Furman to concurrent terms. I don't know why I keep repeating this, but it say lastly, in this last docket, the trial court sentenced Furman to another 285 months imprisonment. I guess it's all consecutive. And to be served consecutive with 2 years imprisonment for his felony conviction. On February 15, 2011, Furman moved from resentencing or an alternative to withdraw his plea and to reinstate his original plea and sentence agreement. He raised the same arguments in his motion, and he does now on appeal. The trial court denied his motion. Furman contends that the trial court abused his discretion when it used sua sponte, vacated his original plea agreement. We disagree. Furman did not object when the trial court vacated his original plea agreement. Then 2 days later, Furman pleaded guilty to the originally charged. Because plea of guilty waives all non-jurisdictional in the proceedings, Furman waived appellate review of his issue, and relief is not warranted. Wow, he has to have a lawyer advising him. Man, that notwithstanding, we will review for an abuse of discretion the trial court's decision to vacate Furman's plea guilty. It may be withdrawn after acceptance, but before sentencing on defendant's motion or with the defendant's consent, only in the interest of justice. Wow. On the prosecutor's action, therefore, because the trial court made it necessary to vacate Furman's plea agreement based on his failure to comply with his terms and reversal of Furman's convictions for failing to comply with the formality of the court rule would elevate from over substance. Okay, so he didn't testify on dude. Truthfully, he withheld some information, so he gets some credit for that. But I think he should get some credit too for he was only 15. He was 15 years old. What would I expect him to be like? You know, so, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think he come from that type of family or whatnot. Mom used to talk to his mother frequently a while back, and she your ratchet mama, she was there. So he 15 got caught up in some stuff, you know, trying to be cool and fit in, and this type of stuff happens. So it's a lesson to be learned from that. So whether or not, I hope the brother come home and do something with his life. I definitely appeal against counsel because that bad. You feel me? But peace and blessings be upon y'all. Say this, y'all was right. You can't steal. You can get a long time. And now, I just ain't never seen it from a Detroit guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you testify against everybody, like, man, you gotta come down to like 5 years. Like, you ain't die. You 15. And they gave him time like it was a murder joint. Y'all see this? That's crazy work. They gave him time like he's a murderer. Man.
Tao but brother, I was a nigga going through.